What's up, guys? This is Vita Deditae. We're here and we're going to talk about our VR experience at EGX.
So, guys, yeah, VR.
VR's great, by the way.
Okay, so
we can cut out all the dead spots.
yeah, so we spent a lot of time in PlayStation VR.
Yeah, so much that they actually got sick of us.
Yeah, they knew us by name by the end of it.
On Facebook and everything now, we're good friends and
it was all good laughs really at the end of the day. We played pretty much everything. we played pretty much everything that had to go.
So between the five of us, we played every single VR that they had to offer.
So Elliot, what did you? Let's just go through the games that we physically played by each of us. So Elliot, what did you play?
Well, because we've got the crossover because we both did the London Heist.
Yeah, me and him did the London Heist.
Him.
Elliot, my good friend.
He's not my good friend.
But yeah, we did the London Heist.
The London Heist was really cool because you find yourself sat in this car and you're a passenger and you've obviously got the VR headset on and you're looking around and you're looking around the car. You can with your two single-handed controls. You can turn the radio on. You can open the glove box. You can grab empty cans of pop and like throw them at the driver and it hits him in the head. And it's
you can't slap him as Elliot tried to do.
I tried to slap him. You can't slap him. Like, you know.
You can open the door though.
You can open the door and you can actually fire out because you got full 360.
That's pretty
kind
cool.
of
I
vision.
didn't know you could do that. You didn't do that, did you?
No, I didn't know that.
No, he didn't think to do that.
No, you go. First thing he did was fucking open the door. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, going down the motorway.
Just imagine him rolling out the VR chair, like rolling down the motorway.
Yeah, but and yeah, you're driving down and you kind of getting to grips with all the controls and what you can do and all the things it has to offer you, and then all of a sudden all these twats on motorbikes are trying to shoot at you and kill you, and then the driver he looks at you, he's like, "Oh, take this gun," and you take this
proper
gun.
Londoner. By
you pick up the ammunition magazines and you actually clip them in yourself with your VR handsets, and then you start shooting. And
if you shoot the wheels, they blow up. Like flipping stuff.
From what I saw, I didn't actually play it. From what I saw, it did look pretty cool.
It was cool.
Fun. It was short, but it was fun.
The first thing that you do, you start going blah, 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 holding your hand out and start firing. But I mean, after a couple of minutes, I picked up.
Aiming it.
You can actually aim down the sights for a much better.
And then
shot,
after a bit of time, I was like, you know what, this is gonna be cool if I do gangster style. So I was like holding it sideways, like brap, 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 brap.
Oh, dear.
It worked. It made me actually have better aim. Funnily enough, so that's why the gangsters do it, folks.
So the London Heist comes as part of a pack, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's VR Worlds, which includes the Heist, Deep Sea, which is the shark one, which you did.
I played Deep Sea. So Deep Sea, it was one of the least interactive, if not the least interactive VR experience there. Because you didn't get a controller, you didn't get any of the motion controls or anything. You just stood there and looked around. But it was by far one of the most immersive ones. Basically, it was deep sea. You're in a cage. You're on these deep sea diving cages, and you're looking around. You've got quite nice scenery for quite a bit of it. But the second half of it takes a turn. Yeah, but pretty much you see stingrays. You see loads of ships. It's quite nice jellyfish, all luminescent and stuff.
And then a big bag of nope happens.
And then a big
bag of sharks come along.
Yeah, and then a great white comes along and just starts wrecking your day. It gets to the point where he's tearing bits off of the cage, and he eventually tears the front door off.
No, forget that.
He eventually ends with him coming round and round, and him having goes and he says you're there because you're so immersed in it because you're looking around, you feel like you're actually there. And it's by far it's the scariest VR experience I've done so far. And I've done a few at this point, just because it feels so. It feels so real, and you see it there, and it's so accurately represented.
It's important to stress how immersive it actually
is.
Once
you're in there, you're there.
I played the Batman one, and even in the loading screen of the Batman one, you kind of just up on a rail, and you can see down on Gotham, and I was scared. I was actually scared.
We'll get to Batman one. We'll come back to Batman.
No, but it's crazy.
It's really
how you know you're literally just standing there, and then you're like.
Yeah, exactly. Even though you're in the real world, you're standing on a floor that's terrifying. Not moving.
Yeah.
That's not under the sea.
Exactly.
Or in a car.
Exactly.
It's really
scary.
You don't feel like you're in that room.
There's a few other in VR worlds as well, isn't there?
In VR world, I'll go back to Deep Down first. So with Deep Down, eventually you end up this shark coming at you, and you feel you're so scared.
You tried to punch the shark.
I actually went for the shark. You'll be able to see it in the video. Because you just feel like you're there. Eventually, you end up getting away, and you're all okay then. But it's not okay. It's very visceral feeling. It's right because you feel like you are right there.
It's definitely one Kate won't be playing.
Yeah. So in VR worlds, you do get a few extra games. You get, of course, you get the Heist. You get the Deep Down. You get the Luge game.
What's that?
We didn't do
that. Wasn't there.
So it wasn't actually there, but I know it's part of VR world.
Oh, okay, that's all you do.
So
is that the one where you're lying
down a hill? Yeah. So you're on Luge and you're losing down a hill. I don't actually know what else is part of VR.
Would you actually have to lie on the floor in your living room
I'd
to
imagine
do
You'd
that?
think so, wouldn't you?
Because if someone just pops by and they don't know what VR is,
Looks a bit weird.
you just run
you're lying on
the floor,
rolling side to side with a thing on your face. It's not the best imagery you can probably have.
Whatever you're into.
It's whatever you're into. Actually, I believe there is more to VR worlds than that, but I'm not entirely sure. Is it?
No, there is, because I was looking, because when he was showing us the options, there was a few, because you kind of goes round in a circle around you, and there was a few more. I just didn't get a chance to read them, but there is quite a lot.
So you played the Journey as well?
Yeah, I played the Journey, which was really, really good.
Robinson Crusoe.
The Robinson Crusoe kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you start off, you're in the middle of this jungle, you wake up, your ship's crashed. You get told this.
Your ship's
crashed. It's like a...
How did a ship crash in the
jungle?
jungle?
It's a spaceship.
Oh, your spaceship. See, that's important. That's important.
Sorry. Your spaceship's crashed. Well, you guess where it is, because it's a little fucking robot friend.
There's like a... It's basically not Ghost from Destiny.
Yeah, it sounds like...
Okay, because these guys haven't... These guys don't know what we're talking about. So
well, there's a video on the screen right now. Probably.
Yeah, it's going to be there or there or there.
You're going to see a lot. You'll see a lot of this game on screen because she was in it for a very long time.
Yeah, I was in it for a long time for a reason. I'll get to that in a second. But you start off, you're in the jungle, and you got this robot friend. I can't remember his name. Let's call him Clive. And he tells you got to follow him, and you got to try and find your ship and see if you can find any of your crew. So you follow him. The first thing you see, you get attacked by raptors, but they're trying to jump on a log which you're walking across. Which is pretty cool. You can't really... You've got a controller in your hand, but you can't really attack them.
You're sitting down.
Even though I did try to pick up debris and afterwards and drop it on him, it didn't work. But you basically use a controller and you aim it at stuff and pick stuff up. You use like R2 and L2 to climb with your hands up a tree. And then you just see lots of different types of dinosaurs around. They get really close to you. And as Corey knows, we got really stuck at something.
He got very stuck at a tree. Where
how did you get stuck at a tree?
He had to climb a tree on these things, and there was this part to
these little pad things that had to open via water.
From what I saw, that game
it didn't tell you what to do.
Clear. It doesn't make it very clear as to what you got to do. It doesn't give you much direction, which it can be good, it can be bad. But especially when you're going into this experience where it's not a typical thing. In this VR world, you do need a little bit more guidance.
Well, especially this one bit, like there was like you got to feed this Brontosaurus. Obviously, you can't. I tried feeding it candy from like the little
candy.
Yeah, I know it's a herbivore.
So there's a broken.
I didn't see the fruit first of all.
There's a broken vending machine there.
Yeah. So I tried to give it candy. Didn't have that.
So what time frame are we in? Because there's a broken vending machine. There's dinosaurs, but there's also spaceships.
I imagine the vending machines fell out of the spaceship. Maybe.
You gotta eat Elliot.
There is
interstellar travel. You want a can of Dr. Pepper every now and again, don't you?
Yeah. But I tried to feed it that. It weren't having it. But I knew I could see the fruit like hanging there, and I knew I needed it, but I didn't think throwing a tiny little candy bar at it would work and make it drop because it was massive fruit. But apparently it did.
Yeah, eventually we had to enlist help from the PlayStation VR people.
Yeah.
But I didn't think that was obvious.
You needed an RL tutorial.
I didn't think that was obvious because the tiny piece of fruit's going to knock down like... This is how big the fruit was. No, this is how big the candy was. The fruit was that big.
The fruit was man-sized.
Yeah.
I was like, that's not fucking going to work, but apparently it did.
Wow.
And, but yeah. You get to the end and you can see your ship, and then all the dinosaurs, the flying dinosaurs and everything just come over the top, and it's a beautiful game. It's the best looking VR game I've played.
From what I saw, it is really, really nice looking.
Yeah.
It's actually running on CryEngine,
That's why.
Which is
that'd be
why
generally
it's
why
such
it
a
looks great.
fantastic looking game.
It's very
Everything
early though,
behind
because
it.
I asked the guy about it and he said
There's no release date yet, is there?
there's no release date. I think it's
Wow.
Q2
Like
of next year maybe.
Yeah.
But they say it's a very, very early like alpha build, and they've had a lot of bugs in it at the moment because of Stop doing that.
We're gonna style it out, but you know.
But yeah, it's had a lot of bugs in it. Like he told me, apparently when people were picking up debris, they picked it up and then it threw them up in the air instead of the debris.
So it's pre-alpha.
So it's pre-alpha.
It's very, very early.
But
very
the thing
early.
with
But
the thing with
still
that
very.
game,
You feel like you're in there, kind of thing.
but the thing with that game is you're playing with a controller.
Yeah, I don't
So-
know why you couldn't use the move.
Without the
control.
move,
Yeah,
it's kind of
I
like they're
think-
just moving the screen.
I'm not
like,
sure whether
yeah.
it supports the PlayStation Move, but I think the PlayStation Move will add an awful lot.
Because I
to
feel
it.
like
Yeah.
you've got on your screen, you've got like two hands. Why
So
can't
why
I
couldn't
use
you
one
move?
move controller to just do
No,
that?
very, very. I think it might support the PlayStation Move. I think it might have just been a limitation that they just didn't have enough
enough.
of the
Maybe,
event,
yeah.
and they had to use it for specific games.
I mean, it
Yeah.
works well enough with the controller.
Yeah.
It annoyed me when you were climbing sometimes, and sometimes you had to do that.
Cross your hands.
Cross
or
your hands. I'm
climbing.
like, well, that's not how I do it. I
Yeah.
do that kind of thing. But, you know, it's one of those things. It's early, and it'll always get better.
So it's like
By
it's
the
more
time
of a
it comes out.
spectacle game. It's more of a
Yeah,
game
like,
that you
look
appreciate.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Like the dinosaurs got really close to you, and you felt like
You felt like you were
they,
there.
They were there.
Yeah.
With
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
It's really, really good.
Fully immersive.
I think that's the one problem with using the controlling games like this is it does break that immersion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereby like
Because obviously in real life you would not have a
you've got a
controller.
There's almost no
Yeah.
point to it because you're just literally you're moving closer to the screen, and that to me is not worth paying for.
Yeah, yeah.
Unless I'm gonna have them move or something like that. What am I gonna
What I
bother?
did notice as well about that game is that the movement with because you're using an analog stick to look behind you because you're in
Yeah.
a sitting position.
Yeah, it kind
it
of
was very
jitters.
jerky. It was very jerky. But as I say, it's very early at the moment.
Yeah.
So this
Yeah.
this is stuff they could address quite easily, to be honest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they'll I
I-
reckon that game will come out and they'll make it move compatible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
we
I
can't
think-
think too deeply into what's wrong with it because
It's
not
nowhere near
yeah,
the
yeah,
edge
yeah,
yet.
It's
It's
not.
nowhere
Made a
near
bit
the edge
too
yet. So I'm not.
harsh.
We're not going to hold anything against it. It does look very, very
It looks
good.
very good.
And
It's
it has a lot of
definitely a
promise
game
to it.
I'll pick up, to be fair.
It has a
I
lot
love
of promise to it.
dinosaurs, so you know. There you go.
Yeah.
Batman, Lego Batman. What am I about?
Lego
Batman was very sort of the same thing. I had the move controls, but I literally just stood in one place.
Yeah.
And you start off. The loading screen's pretty cool because it's you as Batman on top of like you. If you look behind you can see Gotham City.
You on top
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
Gotham City Police Station.
And you can see the
It's quite
backlight shining in the
Ah.
sky. You can see all the
I missed
Gotham
that bit. I
City.
didn't look beyond it.
And again, it was terrifying. Like you put it on my head, and I was like, "Oh my god!" And then you start playing. You're in Wayne Manor, and Alfred comes out to you. You see
Good
the
old
key.
Alfred.
He was really. I don't know if it was just because of how small I am, but Alfred looked really tiny.
He looked right for me.
He looked normal size for myself.
Well, it
as
must
well,
have
yeah.
been
So I think we just played that. So Batman, it's myself, Kate, and Chris all played
Yeah, we
Batman.
played that.
Elliot didn't actually end up playing Batman.
No.
Yeah. But so he gives you the key to the Batcave. You put it in the piano.
Played
There
the
was
piano.
a
That's
phone.
cool.
There was a phone I picked up, but there was nothing. I couldn't hear it.
No
Yeah.
dial tone or anything.
No. And then you play the piano. You go down into the Batcave.
That's cool though. That does look cool when that happens.
That made me feel really weird. My legs were shaking. It was really weird.
Were you standing up
I
or
was
sitting
standing
down?
Just standing up.
Right.
But that's
And
the
you
thing.
go down.
It
As
makes your
soon,
legs
as soon
feel.
as you start moving down, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Makes your legs feel.
Yeah.
That shows how immersed you are.
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
It's like Batman kind of getting dressed. So things come towards you.
Babe,
That just sounds
Yeah.
dodgy.
But it is
Takes off his
basically
dress
what
and
it
get
is.
anyway.
You put your cowl on, you put your suit on,
Yeah.
You've got
and
the
then
gloves, but the
the
gauntlets.
gloves, and then it gives you so you get your grapple gun. You can shoot the grapple gun. You got to put it into your belt.
Yeah, that's cool.
You pick up batarangs. You can
That's
throw
so
them.
cool.
The guy said though that a lot of people were having trouble with putting stuff in the belt.
I had that.
I didn't have no trouble, but he said a lot of people were just trying to put stuff in the belt without realising they can actually look down and see the belt.
I did.
Yeah.
I looked down. It was
Yeah,
still went
but
down.
he said like a lot of people weren't getting the fact that you could actually look down and see.
When you throw the batarangs though, it was cool because like
They got attract.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because I even did. Just possibly stand up for this, but I even did the one where you throw it under your leg,
Yeah.
and that worked. So I was like, that's so cool.
And then so it's the batarang, the grapple. There's something else. What's the other thing you pick up?
It's a scanner. It's like a portable scanner.
Yeah, that'll be like
Yeah.
his detective mode scanner, and then you go down again, and this is the thing that killed me. Like, well, actually no. Before we need that, we need to address Does anyone know why Batman's got a dinosaur in his Batcave?
That's so weird. I turn, I'm like,
why is it there?
why is there a Tyrannosaurus Rex
I
over
missed the
there?
dinosaur. I
I
didn't
was
see
like,
the dinosaur.
I turned, I was looking around, and there's this dinosaur there.
I
and
was
just
there.
like,
I was trying to throw.
What?
I was trying to throw batarangs at bats. Trying to hit the
and
bats.
then I went to the guy, I was
I
like,
did that.
why has Batman got a dinosaur in his Batcave? And he's like, I don't know, I'm just a VR guy. I was like, hey. And then, but
Don't know him personally.
the
yeah.
worst thing about it was, I got to the bottom, and there's like a shelf, and there's a playing card, and I'm like, oh my god, this is Joker. I went to pick it up, and the guy's like taking my set off. I'm
Yeah,
like,
innit?
no, wait. And he's like, no, the demo ends there. And I'm like, but Joker. But it was cool.
When, at the start, there's a different demo going around as well. Like,
yeah, there's the one with Nightwing's face on.
Detective
Yeah,
mode demo apparently. Which
So
I imagine
what I will say is that they didn't actually let us record Batman.
No.
So we weren't able to record.
No, that was very top secret,
It's
wasn't
very.
it?
It's the one VR experience we were unable to record. So
You couldn't even go and watch your friends play it because they didn't even have a screen with what was happening.
Exactly. So if you can see on the other recordings that we've got, you've got a screen of what the actual person can see and the person behind it. Batman didn't have that.
No.
It just had a trailer playing over on everything basically, so you couldn't even see what your friend was seeing.
The one thing with it though, it made you feel like a badass.
It did.
It made you feel like
when you were
Batman.
Batman.
You felt
looking,
like Batman.
You're like there. You're like, I'm Batman.
Exactly.
Yeah, you do get to see like in a mirror,
You get to see yourself
that's so
as Batman.
funny.
and then you're there like,
That's so good.
Yeah, I was just like, yeah. It's cool.
Yeah,
You did feel good.
Yeah,
You did
yeah.
feel
it
good.
was good, but again, it's kind of very basic because
You
you
didn't
don't
do
actually
much.
move.
You didn't
Yeah.
do a lot.
But it's like it's really easy. Like he puts you in the demo, you know exactly.
You know what to do.
You know exactly what you have to do. You haven't got to be
You don't have
told.
to ask, or you don't. It doesn't tell you what to do. You know
It just feels
exactly.
it's
like,
it's everything.
I'm
you
Feels
Batman.
do.
natural.
I'm
Feels
Batman.
natural.
Yeah.
This is what Batman would do. I'm gonna do this.
Yeah,
Right.
it's very cool, and I think as an experience, like a 2-hour experience, it'll be very cool.
Yeah.
But it's not the kind of thing you're gonna finish it and go, I got to do that again.
Yeah.
I think once
Like,
you've done
I think
it,
it's one of the things. Like,
yeah,
if like us lot, even if we had several PSVRs, one of us is gonna get it and just lend it.
yeah.
Because you don't need to all buy it.
You
No.
don't
It's
know.
that kind of
Once
thing.
it is done, it is done.
Yeah.
So Batman was very good, but I can't see it being a full release.
No.
But I can't see it.
It's gonna be experiences.
It's
I think
gonna
a
be
lot of them are
experience.
gonna be
Yeah,
at the start.
yeah.
A lot of them
Yeah.
are gonna be experiences as opposed
So
to
we also
full flown.
What I'll do before we go onto the really good ones, which everyone loves.
Battlezone, remember Battlezone?
Yeah, so you got Battlezone. Do you want to go Battlezone?
Yeah,
first?
Battlezone was really cool. You sat in because they had all the racing chairs, didn't they? They're kind of like actual car seats that are very, very comfy as well. They're lovely to sit in.
Should get one of them
But
for us.
you sat in one of those, and you've got your headset on again, and you're inside this tank, and you're looking around at this control panel, these different dials and readings and measurements of all the stuff going on around you, and you go kind of through this. You're kind of in your headquarters or your mothership. I don't really know where you are, but you're going through it and you're looking around. It's all really cool. And
What
then you
I
get
noticed as
sent to
well-
the battlefield.
You have on your view. You have a PlayStation controller,
Yeah,
which I thought was
do
pretty
the
cool. 'cause
Controller, yeah.
It's in the world
Yeah,
that you're in,
yeah,
so it kind of
exactly.
feels immersive when you're
Yeah,
holding it.
So you
I
can see your
imagine.
controller, but it kind of doesn't make sense because there's no hands holding the controller. Like whenever you look at the controller, it's
It's
just
just floating.
floating
Floating
and
thing.
it floats
Right,
around.
okay.
But
Obviously,
it looked
again,
very-
not released yet.
It
Can't
looked very
fault them on
Tron-esque.
faults.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
yeah.
looks really like Tron, but that's kind of my funny thing with it. Like I was saying, it feels like you go straight from a PlayStation 4 game into a PlayStation 1 game. You got some really immersive graphics, and then when you start fighting and you start blowing stuff up, it's just massive polygons everywhere. It's
Yeah.
just
But I think that's the style. I think that's what
Yeah.
they're going for.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Where
you
it goes
didn't
for.
enjoy it. You
It's
liked
not
it.
for everyone. No, it
No,
wasn't
no.
really for me, that one.
So
But it
going
was immersive. It was good.
Going off the back of that, we've not been for everyone. I played Riggs, so I think I was the only person to actually play Riggs.
We didn't get a video.
Yeah,
of it.
yeah. No one really wanted to play Riggs.
Yeah, that's
Corey
nice.
took one for the team.
He took one for
So
the two.
so Riggs, I was actually quite looking forward to it because I'm quite into competitive FPSs. I do like them quite a bit. I thought Riggs was going to be that for the PlayStation VR basically. I didn't like Riggs. The issues I faced were mainly concerned with the control scheme. So it looked very pretty. The game was gorgeous basically. It's probably the best looking VR game I actually played. But it was so difficult to control. So you move with the left analog stick, and the right analog stick only turns left and right. You physically aim with the PlayStation Move, the PlayStation headset. Sorry, and it points at what you're looking at. You aim with the headset. And you'd think that would be quite cool, but it's not. It
that
makes
sounds
for
really
very
unnatural.
difficult gameplay.
Yeah.
You aim with your guns,
I was
not your
playing
head.
the whole game wishing that I could use a proper analog stick to aim. and then just make tiny fine adjustments with the actual headset as opposed to having full aim with the headset.
Yeah.
I didn't like it at all.
Well, especially as they're releasing those,
How
the
did
ones
you
with
like
the guns
it
as
around?
well, that you actually aim the
Exactly.
guns around.
Exactly.
Do it differently, yeah.
Did you
with
like-
Rigsy, I didn't like it. I could see.
Was it turning your head to move as well? Because
No.
I heard that you turn your head to turn a corner.
I didn't see that at all. Turning your head, you're stuck in that field of view until you use extra analog stick after that.
Oh, no.
I didn't get on with that game at all. I think maybe if it had a fixed point of view and then you was looking around, then it might have been better. But you was literally looking around at your cockpit, and then you say this is your cockpit facing this way. You'd look up there to shoot. Your cockpit would stay facing that way, and the aim would go up that way. I just didn't like that. It didn't feel good to play.
Especially when it's
I didn't
competitive as
enjoy
well.
it.
It's going to be like against other people. You want it to be accurate and
Yeah, I was playing against. It was
All that.
only AI, and I was getting destroyed. I was getting wrecked, basically.
Get
I literally.
Get good.
Get good for it.
I didn't. I felt like I was being held. I was very
Yeah,
limited by the control scheme in that game. I think the game, if they was to sort that out, I think it'd be a really cool game.
Yeah.
But it felt very limited in that aspect.
felt unnatural.
It
Yeah.
very didn't seem like with some of the other games, like you got into it and you knew exactly what you were doing and you knew exactly how to play it, and, and it felt good and it felt smooth and it felt great.
I think that's a good
That's
point. That's a good point to lead on to Farpoint.
Farpoint, yeah.
Oh my god,
it's a good
Farpoint.
So
oh my god.
let Kate
your experience
Okay.
first, Kate.
Okay,
Yeah.
so he played Farpoint the first day, wouldn't shut up about it, how great it is. I managed to get myself in for another VR, and I was like, oh, I'll play Farpoint. Looks good, the gun, awesome. Again, you pick it up, you know exactly what you're doing. Looks great. My problem was that you move with the stick, obviously, and it's very fast. And obviously, when the enemies come in, you're shooting the enemies, and you're moving and da-da-da-da-da. And I got so dizzy, I had to cut my VR short. I had to leave because it would mess me up so bad. And the demo,
Nearly falling over, weren't you?
yeah, like it not like I was. My legs were shaking. I felt dizzy. Like even after the guy took my headset off and I went to sit down, I still didn't feel right. But
I think this does show a few of the pitfalls of the eyes. It's
But
not for everyone.
another thing that it did that kind of started it off was I was walking quite slowly, and then it was like rendering new place, whatever.
Yeah.
And this line comes from behind you and like changes the whole scenery, and I was like, oh. And then the enemies are coming, and I'm moving to shoot the enemies. Like, the shooting was fine. It was really like accurate.
Really accurate and
You
everything,
you were shooting down there, up there. It was so good. That was no problem. But it was because I was moving so fast. I was like, yeah, you're gonna have to let me go.
And because you're standing up as well,
Yeah.
you're using
standing-
the gun
yeah.
to move
And the
around.
guy was like, "You'll get used to it. You'll get used to it." I'm like, "If you don't take this off me, I'm gonna be sick right
So
here."
I reckon
and
if I was playing it, I'd try and move with my feet, and I'd end up
That's what I
walking
tried.
out of the
Couldn't-
NEC.
See, I came with a compromise with that kind
Yeah.
of thing. I was playing it, but I noticed I was getting a little dizzy at the start, so I thought, well, I want to get through the demo because I've heard this is really good. So I started walking on the spot,
See, it knocked
and
me.
it helped.
No, you see, it made me feel that weird. My legs were shaking. I could not physically do that.
Yeah.
But apparently, it affects 1 in 5 people, and there's 5
There's
of us.
There's 5 of us.
So
So,
I got the short straw.
There's going to be an
I
eventuality
think,
there
I think
somewhere.
if they would have given me, if they would have gone, oh, if we get you a chair, will you carry on? It would have been no problem.
Yeah.
because to be fair, you can
But
play that.
Stand
Say you
still.
got like a computer chair.
A
I
swivel
reckon you
chair.
could
A swivel chair, yeah.
You
You
could
can
play
swim around
that.
still, you can still do
turn.
that.
Yeah.
I mean, but I think
Yeah, it was the
So-
game was
yeah.
the gun is amazing. The shooting was so easy. It was a perfect game, just not for
For
me
you,
personally.
yeah.
There's nothing bad about it. It was just I physically cannot play it.
I mean, they
That's
can
the
make
only
a few.
criticism.
I reckon they
fun
can make a
adjustments.
few
Yeah.
adjustments, and that it's going to be fine adjustments with that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But-
Let's
and I reckon
stress
when
that
it comes
none
out,
of
you
these
might
are
be
actually
okay.
physically
Yeah.
out yet.
Farpoint seemed like the
Farpoint-
most progressed
Exactly.
game. Like they had the
Exactly.
least work to do on it.
Yeah.
Farpoint doesn't come out until March.
If they
Well,
could
yeah.
sort of tweak I mean, I
How
could have.
it's the
I
fastness
could
of it.
have probably, like, not have held the move button forward. That's probably my bad. Like, if I could have walked a bit slower, I don't think it would have got me. But it's literally how fast you were moving, and then when you were moving to shoot,
Does
mean,
it have a sensitivity
I
thing,
have
or is
no
it just
idea.
on
We
speed?
don't know
No
which
idea.
got
like
what.
the Batman one,
Right.
the Batman one made me feel weird going down in the lift, and I said to the guy afterwards, I'm literally like my legs are shaking. I'm literally there going to myself, I am not moving, and I still felt weird. So it is crazy how much you believe it.
Like you're getting travel sickness
Yeah.
without actually travelling anywhere.
I'm getting like, exactly. I'm feeling like
You're getting tricked.
terrified.
You're getting tricked to the point of sickness.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I
Crazy.
think
So-
that's a good thing as to why the fact that they're bringing out games where you're sitting down as well as that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's not you're not limited to the ones that make you travel sick. You can play other stuff. That's I think because they're not doing that so much with the Vive or the Oculus, from what I've heard.
I never had no problem with the Vive.
So from what
because you weren't actually
from what
moving.
I've seen, PlayStation VR is going to be the one that has the most actual games.
Yeah, of course they are. Because Sony's going to invest in it.
By a long way.
Yeah.
And actually, it seems to have the most realised experiences of any of the VR headsets so far.
Because when all this new stuff comes out, because Xbox are coming along with the Scorpio, which is incredibly powerful.
So they say.
If what they actually are making stands true to their word, then PlayStation going to have to rely on their VR, but they're ahead of the game.
Yeah, because Xbox don't have a VR.
Because they weren't. PSVR was not the only one there. There were other different companies
at the event,
as well.
you had both Oculus and Vive as well.
Yeah.
So there was one Vive demo which I played, which was the one at the Nvidia booth.
Yeah.
And that was awful. That was a piece of shit.
I'll
be honest, that was crap. It was the one with the minigun.
It looked cool that you had a minigun, but
it was a terrible.
But you have to then go to your local video game shop and buy a full-on minigun just to play the game. Like,
here you go.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's not
At
exactly
the last E3, the Vive demos were cool.
EGX.
EGX. The Vive demos
wish
were
we
cool.
went to E3.
They were cool, but they were very short
They were
experiences.
not it was nothing that came out of like, oh, I gotta get one of those.
PlayStation VR.
No, like
I know what you're saying.
No, the PlayStation. There's loads of games I would like to play on VR, but I mean the Vive, like they had those we had like again an
it's very early at
Sea
that
one.
point.
Yeah.
We had that job one where you were cooking. That was cool. That's probably the one I enjoyed the most.
Yeah.
But it was nothing that I was like, oh my god,
So
game changer.
I'm bringing it back to track now. So my experience with Farpoint, going back to Farpoint.
Yep.
Farpoint by far was the best VR experience I've had on any of the VR headsets available at the moment.
I'd say the same for me.
By a distance as well. So the thing with Farpoint is you got into Farpoint and they give you basically what's called the toy gun. With,
it doesn't look like a gun in
to
real life.
So you have it there, you're thinking, what?
It looks like the middle of a bike frame.
Yeah, it really is. Just a little like
who's glued together some
the
PVC
thing on the end.
and put it in this VR demo, basically. But you get into it, they put the headset on, and when you're in the headset, you can see the actual device there, and then they give it to you, and as soon as it switches to the game, that's it. You're in that game.
Yeah.
That is by far the most immersive realised
the
world.
gun is so immersive. You can turn it, look at the sides.
You're looking. You'll see a lot of me. I'm just looking at stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not playing the game. I'm just looking at stuff, and I'm so.
At one
impressed.
point, he stops, looks at his shadow, and moves around.
I'm just trying to test it, and it's just it's so good. It was so good. And it hit every single point.
When I did it, I purposely died just to see what happened.
Purposely.
No, I did.
My name's Chris. I died on purpose.
No, I actually did. I purposely died, and it just lies your body. That's a bit unimmersive because you just see your body. You see your body lying.
Well, you're not supposed to die.
Obviously. I know
That's
that.
the point of games, Chris.
I think a good testament to that is comparing it to Riggs is how you get into that game. And if you watch it, how on point I am with the aim with that gun in that game.
Yeah.
Compared to
the first time you did it, you don't shoot guns in real life.
Exactly.
First time contrary to what the PlayStation goes.
Exactly. How absolutely you can be pinpoint. I was more accurate with that than I am with a keyboard and mouse.
Yeah.
It's mad. It's mad how good you are with that appliance to go with it.
The fact that the Move controllers, which is what they're using, came out how long ago?
The Move controllers came out, gosh, I think it was 2008.
And they're that accurate already. They don't need to do any new ones or anything like that. That just shows how ahead of their time they were.
The only downfall with the Move is you cannot, if the camera cannot see the Move, it won't work. So you cannot
turn all the
you
way
can't do a full 360. No, you are stuck to basically
you can look
180
behind you,
but you can't move behind you.
Like in the Batman one, I could look behind me. I could see the police station. I could see the backlight and all that. But
if you put your hand behind you like that,
it don't work.
It won't.
The camera needs to have visibility of the actual move of the colour ball. They could rectify that later on. Had an extra camera, but I don't think that's something they're going to be doing. The only real one.
Give it 5 years.
The only real people that are doing that are the Vive. And when Oculus eventually comes out with the Touch, they're going to have a similar limited. It's going to be limited in the same way.
Yeah.
Due to the Oculus Rift only having the camera. I think the Vive being as good as it is a little bit ahead of its time. just because of the fact that you have the Oculus that has this one camera point, you have the PSVR, which is probably by far the most popular, but you have to emphasise this has the lowest price point of any VR by a distance.
And the
affordable.
Vive, like when we played the Vive, they took you into this room, this big empty room, like who has got
that much
in their
space in their living room?
Yeah.
It
sounds really impressive.
Especially like the setup that we have here, Vive is totally unusable. We have absolutely no chance of being able to use a Vive in this environment. And the PlayStation VR costs half as much of a Vive.
Half the price.
You can get a PlayStation and the PlayStation VR for the price of the Vive. And the Vive, you need to have that computer to go with it. And that computer, basically, you're looking at spending around £1,000, £800 to £1,000 on a computer to use the Vive.
That's just like minimum.
Exactly. I can see the Vive being really, really good and having the experience of using the Vive is fantastic, but I can't see it having full game experiences.
Thinking with the Vive, it has little not crappy games. It does have a lot of crap.
It has experiences. And I'll be honest, using the Vive, the experiences I had with it, amazing.
Again,
absolutely amazing.
They gave you it and you just knew what to do.
You knew exactly what to do.
Like in the cooking one, it was like cook this, and you knew
you just got to cook it.
To go to the fridge to pick it up, you didn't have to be told what to do.
When my right hand decided to break, and I could only
use one hand, this is pre-release to the Vive, so there are going to be glitches. So the Vive, I think, is really, really cool. But I don't think that everything's going to catch up.
The PSVRs, I reckon, will do the best because it's affordable for the general public.
It's cheaper.
It's affordable for gamers.
And you know that
and I bet they're going to advertise the shit out of it.
And the thing is,
it's going to be by far the most advertised.
Sony are going to pull money into it because
it's a product that's got a PlayStation name attached to it.
It's the way they're going to cut ahead of it.
What Sony have always said since forever, they're all about the games.
Yeah,
exactly.
And they're making the games for VR proper games. As opposed to the experiences.
Jamie, who isn't here because he's weak because he couldn't stay awake after 4 days, played Driveclub.
So Jamie played Driveclub. He wasn't that impressed with it. So he says I think it's because of more of the fact that it was unrealistic. It wasn't a sim basically. Driveclub isn't a sim. And he was talking about how things like break. James very specific about his video games. I think it would have been okay. From what I saw of other people playing it seemed okay. It isn't the best looking game. That's only because they had to get that 60 FPS limit. I think the PS4 Pro is going to help a lot of these experiences.
One of the Sony guys was saying that the Driveclub one is the one that the most people are having problems with. Because of how fast the car's moving, it's the one that's knocking people.
Like sickness problems. It's not feeling
if you get travel sickness in cars anyway, if you're in Driveclub, you're going to get it again.
Yeah.
It's the one that he said, even he said that was his least enjoyable one because he didn't have it.
I think with that, it would be alright because you have the racing wheel, you have the pedals. That's going to be like an extra to buy in real life.
Do you know what I think it is as well? Let's be real. You were there. You're there in that PlayStation exhibit with 100 people queuing, watching you.
Yeah.
So when I was playing Farpoint, I was right out in the open. So I'm I don't want to fall over in front of all these people. Yeah. So if I was at home, I probably would have I would have stopped for a bit and carried on. But because I'm now in front of all these people, I'm not gonna be that person that collapses.
I bet there was someone who did it. So
I'm not gonna be that person.
They're very good because they gave you VR water.
Yeah, basically.
The amount of VR water.
It's just an empty bottle, but you've got to imagine.
The amount of VR water I came back from.
Sony basically went out and hired the team of hot guys to, all these people, all these guys, do you want to sign up? And they were just, they poured some money into hiring those people to.
Throughout the whole of EGX, we lived off that tornado energy drink and the water they were giving us because
basically,
only free beverages.
Yeah.
And Virgin Media gave us popcorn as well.
And
Mafia gave us popcorn as well.
Yeah.
So the biggest game that I was excited about that I didn't actually get to play.
Yeah, me and Kate were so hyped for this game. It's the only game we
apparently we got there to play. I wanted to play Resident Evil 7, and it was pre-booked for an hour. So I had a slot at 3:30 and said, "Could I pre-book Resi at 3:30?" And I was told that you can't pre-book. How that works, I do not know.
So then I went up.
5 minutes later.
I went up to go in my slot and I said, please, can I play Resident Evil? It's the 4th time I've done this and I've only come to EGX to play Resident Evil. And they told me, we'll see what we can do. So
got his charm on.
Unbuttoned.
He's over
the top a little bit.
Sony come up to him. You want some VR, stranger?
But no, basically they said yeah, you can do it, but you've got to wait minimum like an hour.
You were there for a while.
I did wait for a while. And
so I was like, Elliot, I'm going to wait with you because I need to see
Yeah. But then there was that wait, and then the wait in the queue before, and then the wait to get into EGX. I was probably waiting for over 2 hours to play this.
The waiting area.
This is Resident Evil. Who cares how long I'm going to wait? Just give it to me.
Waiting area was pretty comfortable.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah.
It's nice.
But no, Resident Evil, that was... I wouldn't say it was the most scared I've ever been, but it was the most immersed I've ever been in a horror game, because I think since horror games have been out, they focus on how immersed you are, because horror games want you to be there. They want you to feel what you're supposed to feel.
With VR, the things I'm most looking forward to are FPSs, things like Farpoint, and horror games.
Yeah.
Horror games are going to be the one for me, because I have a love-hate relationship.
He's a little bitch, that's what he is.
I love horror games, but my body doesn't.
Yeah.
And I react so badly to normal horror games. In VR, I'm probably going to die.
Yeah.
I love Resident Evil. Like, they're my favourite games. I'm so excited. Wow, I say I'm excited. I'm excited for 7, but I'm very worried about it because it's very different from the old ones, and that worries me. But I don't know if I'm gonna bother playing it in VR.
Well, I think that's why I was the perfect person to play the VR, because I haven't played. I've played them, but I've never had them. I've never gone properly into the Resident Evil games. But yeah, I'm a Resident noob. But that's okay, because I started doing this VR Resident Evil, and you do feel like you're there. You do feel genuine fear when you're hiding from that creepy woman who's trying to find you in this house.
You did find him a few times.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Now you've said that, we're going to have to show it.
The best. This is one of my highlights of EGX. Elliot kept getting found by the woman, and the guy went over and leant over and picked up his headphone, and at the same time, me and Corey leant into each other and were just like, get good. You could probably hear us laughing on the clip.
Probably go down the camera, to be fair.
But it's very different though, because that's never been
different.
Resi before.
Yeah, and it kind of follows what the other VR games were doing by it doesn't give you much information. It's not like it tells you where to hide, where she's going to come from.
It literally just says, don't get caught.
Yeah, don't get caught. And you don't know where she's going to come from or where she's going to go.
I suppose that's...
And because it's new technology as well, I wasn't sure what I can and can't hide behind.
Yeah.
You know, because... I don't know what her line of sight is. I don't know.
I think with VR at the moment, one of the big things as well is that you're not sure exactly how much you can do.
Yeah.
So you don't know where they've drawn that limit. So at the moment, I think with the early games, you're getting some games will do something, some games will do others.
But when I was hiding behind the crates and she's over there and you can see through the gaps in the little panels of wood and you're really peering through, you're seriously trying to see, oh God, she's coming over, you know. And you can really peer around. And
I remember seeing you peering around a door and she was coming towards the door. You literally, I don't know why you're waiting there for so long, because here's the door, here's Elliot.
I thought she was still
here.
there.
And she was fucking there. I was like, go. What are you doing?
I was bringing it for you.
It was all like, what is he doing? The PlayStation guys literally come over to us and they're like, watch this bit now.
Yeah, the guy was purposely making you go a certain way.
Is that when I was calling in the thing?
Get you to the creepy bit, the bit that scares everyone.
Yeah,
that's the thing. This is the one thing that worries me about it. That's never been Resi before, and you can.
No, it is very un-Resident Evil. You can take the Resident Evil now away and put Outlast on there, and it'll be that Outlast game.
Before Revelations 2.
A few moments later.
Right, if I just throw a rope around the conversation and just bring it back, there, you know the bit at the end of the Resi demo where I find myself strapped in this chair with my family? I don't know what they are.
Yeah, and they're trying to feed you their arms.
Yeah, and my dickhead brother's throwing plates at me and shit. And he throws his plate at you, and I'm genuinely wondering why it didn't hurt. Because
you feel like there's a plate coming towards you.
Well, this is the thing, because me and Corey are on this. You haven't seen any of the stuff the person you were when you were running from that woman. It was a lady called Mia. Was it Mia? Or Maya? Or something?
The first time you felt like a lady.
Basically, and then she's leaving these clues for a guy called Ethan. Because when you were at the table, you were a man. Because they were calling you a he.
So you swap persons.
Yeah. So, in original Resi, you used to pick up a document and read.
Right.
This and the new idea is you pick up tapes,
Like video files,
and
yeah.
you play the
use
tapes.
as people.
So it's like you're all these different people, and things in the tapes that you do will affect the player in the now.
Okay.
And this family, there's the family man, the lantern woman, there's the brother.
You got a brother and then
yeah.
and then the old lady to the left. I don't know who that was.
But that woman, you know, the one that you looked at, she was like all messed up in the thing. That could either be Mia, or from the end of the kitchen demo, you were like strapped. You were strapped to this chair at the very, very end, and this like girl she just comes out of nowhere and she's all like messed up, and she just runs at you. So that could be her too. We don't know. Who knows?
So going back to VR.
Yeah.
So,
I just love it so much.
So I think that pretty much wraps up. Is there any more VR that anybody did that I can think of? I think that was all the VR experiences. I think that pretty much wraps up the PlayStation VR experiences that we had at EGX.
Yeah.
I've had a pre-order on one for months, basically.
Yeah.
Since the day it was
We'll
able
get
to
it
pre-order it,
this
I've had a
house.
pre-order on it, and doing what we did there just completely reinforced that stage.
Me and Elliot are gonna freeload after these guys.
Basically.
Yeah. Chris and Corey are getting their VR, so that means we're gonna kind of move in and
There'll be plenty. Don't worry, there'll be plenty of videos on VR.
There'll be loads of videos to come because we're gonna record the shit out of our VR games. Because
I'll tell you what. One thing I was disappointed that wasn't there to try out was Eve Valkyrie. Because that's the VR game I'm looking forward to the most, and it wasn't there, and I was like,
To be fair, this EGX, there was a lot of things that you thought would have been there that didn't turn up.
Stuff.
So
It's really cool, but it wasn't there. I was a bit disappointed about that. But
saying
that, it looks like it's going to be good. I'm going to get it. Anyway.
PlayStation VR, but definitely, from my opinion,
it's the best VR.
It's the one to get. It's the one.
It's the one that's got proper games for it.
Yeah.
And Sony are going to throw. You know they're going to throw in all the money for it.
Exactly. They're going to promote that all day long. So yeah. VR for the win.
VR's good.
VR's got thumbs up.
Big time.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, guys. We'll catch you next time. Oh, shit! I'm dead. I jumped into that. That was my own fault, really. Chris, you got to do this. I'll say it's one.
Yeah!
Sorry.
Why do we leave the last thing to Chris?